Good morning, viewers. I've not woken up, and Facebook, fellow Facebook users, I've not woken up with this early in a very long time. But Kisi Agyei has brought me here very, very early in the morning.
Good morning, Sase. Good evening, Ghana, and I say good morning, Ghana. Dear Nessia, say good evening, Abedani, good morning. Because Paul Adom Otchere program, no, a good morning, good evening, Ghana. Intimate good morning, Ghana, na me yamash me say, I don't mash some program, nana. Say yakwa kwachen. Say ya ye kase special akwose Peter wachen. Or the maraso unia penchi as you see o shim say ya ye kase. Ni nyina ne say ye say eye airport wono. Enye on kwato flower tintin BBC wona ye kan ho asema papa obetime anya asemo. Sa flower tintin bi no. Obechirichiri mu ano. Na before ye kofa po Adom Otchere e de na kɔ no. Obegina TV so be share story mu chiri still special cause Peter's want to say obechire mu akotu law and the law of article 1 is equal to then what chire mu still yakwa kofa no etira mo imagine o mo mutimi kotu mrakwa na echo me na me ambete am ni mra die ye de so mo pum bo me fit say you know enya asem ketwa po Adom Otchere akotu still ye de na kwa akoshim. Now before we call Adom Otchere de no so no special akwose Peter ekochi ken ofuriata wanche ni sig bran o de krata ato no so se abrante no obedu Ghana wo se etselumuni ade bi dal tiri so ema ken ofuriata enso court koye application bi ni ade na yenhwe no de aba be si efasa case ne ho wo hwe krata desk yisu ya enu free office of the special prosecutor ho. The High Court Criminal Division has dismissed an application by former Finance Minister Kenneth Ofori-Atta seeking to strike out a warrant issued for his arrest by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Nesen kokwa akoye etiseke ventela di ni bina odidi nkofo atempenfo atemu a ya strike di ni afri literature nan kan ho atono. Mr. Ofori-Atta had argued that the Office of the Special Prosecutor unlawfully obtained a warrant and asked the court to set aside all related proceedings, including an Interpol Red Notice alert. However, the court this morning ruled that the application lacked merit and dismissed it in its entirety. Case closed. Special Prosecutor still on that one jumana we odi Ofori-Atta die sinchen ene hu yan say je nua be ma Paul Adom Otchere enso waba so ne panchi as say ya ye kase when meeting be conditions a wo shem say ya ye kase ya ti say ano aye den chairman ababonten kura be good morning Ghana achirichiri mu still na amfa yenkwa special akwose Peter nsem wo de beto so efa Paul Adom Otchere de konti awaso ne panchi no. Office of the Special Prosecutor say the Office of the Special Prosecutor has interviewed and formally charged the former board chairman of the Ghana Airport Company Limited, Paul Adom Otchere, and 2 others. However, Mr. Adom Otchere has so far been unable to meet his bail conditions. They say kasei untimi meeting the bail condition. He is required to present 2 landed properties of no specific value registered in his name. However, he has informed the OSP that he does not own landed property in Ghana. As a result, he remains in custody until the bail term are certified. They say kase also ni edan ni bibia oni bibia Ghana ho. They say kase just we nyansa no wetime pii. Edan mienu. Nsase mienu. The 2 other persons are Otchere Kwame Bafo Ewa Group Executive Commercial Services GACL and Albert Agyei CEO of Detention System. Mr. Paul Adom Otchere is under investigation in connection with a revenue assurance contracted between the Ghana Airport Company Limited and a private firm owned by the proprietor of Strategic Mobilization Ghana. The OSP is examining possible procurement breaches, including a sole sourced contract awarded to a company other than the one above by the Ghana Airport Company Limited Board. Etiabusa vesi kase de Paul Adom Otchere ohye aban kukum a ontimi meet ni bail conditions. Na before be ba ono ani nchire mu wode ba ye no so no kofa no nfi ye de ne kono ene na nya asem ketwa.
I've just been asked to move away from the premises. So this is the police moving now. So there's a police, and then this second car actually is Adom Otchere's car. So he's in this car that is just moving away now. We're unable to tell where he's headed as we speak, but that's the situation here at the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
nua Paul Adom Otchere ene ye de ne ekoro no ne se ano aye den e se Adane good morning Ghana ne se nya asem ketwa na ni nua a wotane ne ye program ono so ye lawyer ba bontin so abechirichirim no kotu chese wa kotu a still na ade ne kotu.
But if you tell somebody who is accused, who you have the power to throw behind bars, that he should bring land documents, he's told you that I have no land documents. I have no land. I have not purchased because the land even which he lives is in his mother's name. You say that that's the basis for which somebody has failed to meet bail conditions and so he should be thrown behind bars. Another accused person, also the same thing. He doesn't have landed property in his name, so he should be put behind bars. I mean, it's quite frankly bizarre. All jokes aside, it is quite frankly bizarre. And we cannot continue like this. And it may not be about liking or hating a person or what a person stands for. I don't like everybody. Not everybody will like me. But it doesn't mean that if something wrong is happening, we should keep quiet and jubilate or rejoice over it. Yes, if the person has committed wrong, no problem at all. Go through the appropriate legal remedies. Let these things, follow due process, and let the law, practice. Let us see, do fidelity to legal principles. Now, if they can put up the constitutional provision for me, so we do some discussion on it. The 1992 Constitution, more specifically Article 14.3, it says that a person who is arrested, restricted, or detained, A, for the purpose of bringing him before a court in execution of an order of a court, or upon reasonable, and this is the important part, upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed or being about to commit a criminal offense under the laws of Ghana, and who is not released, shall be brought before a court within 48 hours after the arrest, restriction, or detention.
Nuanso nchire mo no so de ba bonteni ho wa utumi say wa try asen ko be kotu bia bo ne nua ba o kotu kura special kwese Peter say onte ase kotu na chi nyina unua nkonkoshim ama sisi ya ye kase Paul ba bonten ano papa and obey good morning Ghana.
Good morning, viewers. I've not woken up, and Facebook, fellow Facebook users, I've not woken up with this early in a very long time. But Kisi Agyei has brought me here very, very early in the morning because the number of calls I received between yesterday 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. is amazing. I never got that number of calls. It gives a compelling reason why I have to come here and explain the things that Kisi Agyei is doing. So this is the beginning of the story. The people saw this on social media. OSP invites Paul Adom Otchere of over GACL contract. He alleges witch hunt. That was an interview I granted Joy and City. And here is OSP orders former Ghana Airport Company Limited Board Chair Paul Adom Otchere to present himself for questioning over corruption probe into a revenue assurance audit deal. Okay, so this is the basis on which everyone was calling me, everybody. And I read social media last night, and this morning I haven't because we just came to do this very early so you can see it. I read social media, and some people were very happy that, oh, yeah, Paul Adom Otchere, and we pray for them. Many others who called me personally, people I don't know, calling from outside the country, everybody talking about, oh, because you are doing this OSP, what is the matter? What does it entail? What is he talking about? So it's a short story, but if you tell a short story to 25 people, then it becomes long. So I want to put the story out now based on the letter that the OSP wrote, what they are looking for, so we can see it. So let's begin with the letter that the OSP wrote to me. So this is the letter that the OSP wrote to me. It's here. It says that it's on 25th July and it's addressed to me, Paul Adom Otchere, former board chair, Ghana Airport Company. Direction to attend the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It says the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the OSP, has commenced the investigations into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses In respect of the Revenue Assurance Audit Services Agreement between the Ghana Airport Company, GACL, and Evertex Logistics Limited, you are considered a suspect in this investigation. Accordingly, you are directed to report to the Office of the Special Prosecutor located at 6 Haile Selassie Avenue, South Ridge, Accra, on Thursday, 31 July at 3 p.m. for an interview. You may be accompanied by legal counsel of your choice. So this is the letter that Kisi wrote, and this afternoon that he said we should appear. So when I got the letter, sometime yesterday or so, they called me. Somebody called from the OSP office. But they had called me, I didn't see it, so I called back as I usually do. And then somebody said, I'm from the OSP office. I have been looking for you to give you a letter, and they directed me to the airport. And I said, but what are you doing at the airport? I don't do anything at the airport. I'm not there. I'm in my office at Metro TV at Ridge. So bring it over. So they brought the letter over, and this was the letter. So quickly I sent it to the lawyers that OSPs had invited me, we need to go. And they said, oh, when has he said? They said Thursday. And they said, Thursday we can't. Thursday we are busy. We have Court of Appeal in Kumasi and all that. What about Friday? I said, I don't know whether he can do Friday. And they said, well, the best thing will be Monday. I said, so how do we go about it? They said, okay, let's write to the OSP. So we wrote this letter to the OSP, indicating that we can't come today, but we can come on Monday, 3 o'clock, the same 3 o'clock. This is the letter we wrote. It's as follows. It's written from Akufo-Addo Prempeh & Co., the law firm, the letterhead. It's written to the Director, Asset Recovery and Management Division, Office of the Special Prosecutor, Haile Selassie Avenue. And it's the topic is direction to attend the Office of the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Paul Adom Otchere. We asked for Paul Adom Otchere. Your letter reference so and so. We have been notified by our client and received the letter with reference aforementioned, the effect of which invites our clients to your office in respect of investigations into suspected corruption and corruption-related offences concerning revenue assurance audit service between the Ghana Airport Company and Evertex Logistics. We write to inform you that we shall be unable to attend your office on the requested date of 31st July 2025 at 3 in the afternoon, and hence shall be unavailable to provide our clients with the legal representation so required by law. We consequently request that the meeting be rather fixed for Monday, 4th August 2025 at 3 in the afternoon. We are grateful and apologies for any possible inconvenience. The letter is signed by the lawyer. So we wrote this to the OSP. Now, the OSP, when he sent us the letter, then quickly leaked it to the media. This is what he does all the time. Leak to the media to try and create the impression that you have done something wrong. Oh, this is showboating. Every media must see everything. We didn't leak the letter. The letter came to us. And quickly he leaked it to the media. He didn't tell the media that we had requested. So when I granted an interview to Joy FM, I said that we had requested and then to shift the date. And then they brought this very brutal letter after that. This very, very brutal one on 30th, yesterday. It says as follows. They wrote to Akufo-Addo Prempeh & Co. And it says direction to attend the OSP office. Listen to the language. Reference is made to your letter dated 30th July with reference number so and so, in which you seek to reschedule the suspect's appearance before. Okay. Please be advised that the office cannot, unfortunately, accept the proposed alternative date. The suspect is required to report as directed on 31st July at 3 p.m. at the Office of the Special Prosecutor located at Haile Selassie, North Ridge. While a suspect is entitled to legal representation of their choice, it must be understood that the law firm operates as chambers comprising multiple lawyers. In circumstances where a particular lawyer is unavailable, any other qualified lawyer from the same firm may represent the suspect without prejudice to his right to counsel. The Office of the Special Prosecutor is discharging a statutory mandate under the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act and does so with the expectation of full cooperation. Failure to appear as directed may amount to obstruction or non-cooperation, and the office reserves the right to take appropriate legal action, including compulsion measures in accordance with the law. For administrative purposes, it will be helpful for all future correspondence to be addressed to the special prosecutor through the undersigned. I don't know who is the undersigned. Who signed the letter? Okay, it doesn't show us who signed the letter. This is the letter that the OSP sent. By the time they were doing the media stuff, this is the letter that they had sent to me, you know. And everybody started calling me that, look, Kisi wants you to come at 3 p.m. on Thursday. He will delay you so that there's no Good Evening Ghana. He will delay you overnight. And this is what he wants to do. And why does he want to do that? Because perhaps he has wind of some PDS petition that is going to him, blah, 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 that we are involved in. That's coming later. Okay, so now let's get to the substance of the letter. So what is the story about? What is the whole brouhaha story about? So in his letter, in the letter of the OSP, he says that, the original letter, he says that he's investigating some revenue assurance, something like that. Okay. In my interviews, I wondered why a board chairman is connected with something that has to do with procurement and all that, because under the Procurement Act, board chairman is not a part of it. The Procurement Act doesn't mention a board chairman anywhere. But anyway, this is Kisi Agyei and the OSP, so no problem. All right. So he says he's investigating something related to revenue assurance audit service of a contract between some company, Evertex. At the board at the Ghana Airport Company, sometime around 2022, the Ghana Airport Company needed money. I mean, there was not enough money in the system, so they needed money. So the board invited the minister to sort of discuss the fees and charges, whether the minister could go through parliament and increase the fees and charges so that the Ghana Airport Company can make some revenue. The minister said no, he can't. Because of the post-COVID Ukraine war, it's difficult to go and tell Ghanaians to pay more. So the board should find ways of raising more money, especially non-aeronautical. These are documented in terms of the policy to raise money through non-aeronautical. It's documented. What is non-aeronautical? If you buy a ticket, I buy a ticket, the airport company gets some money. That's aeronautical. Non-aeronautical is whether they deal in some land or they give somebody space to sell meat pie, or somebody is doing something, or other things that we can do, especially at the cargo area. See how we can get more revenue. All that is documented. So we were looking for people who can help us in different ways to raise non-aeronautical revenue for the airport, because we're not going to get the fees and charges, because the government policy is that you can't do fees and charges at this time post Russia-Ukraine war. So somebody contacted the board and said that, look, you guys are losing money at cargo, and I can do it. My company can do it. So we said, okay, come to the board and come and do a presentation, which is very normal, very, very normal. So they came to the board to do a presentation and said that this is what we know and this is how it works. The board told them that, yes, you have told us what it is, but there's no real evidence. You haven't given us any evidence that, in fact, we are losing money. And then they said that to do that, we have to work with your management to come and tell you, because we need access to your systems. When we get access to your systems, then we'll be able to tell you in the things that are the revenue that's happened already. So today is July. They will take last year's revenue and show you that this revenue that you got 1 million cedis, you could have gotten 3 million cedis. This revenue that you have 2 million cedis could have gotten 6 million cedis. So the management gave them that, and then they did that. And then the management brought them to the board the second time and said that people have finished their work, so let the board hear them. So the board heard them. And then they seem to know what they are talking about. They seem to show that, yes, revenue was lost and revenue can be gained. So the board told management that, okay, go ahead, which is also normal. The board tells the management, MD and your people, go ahead and work with them and report back to us. So they did, and they went to work with them. And then we continue our meetings. I had forgotten about it. I don't know anything about it. Then the management comes back that they finished with the people. They brought a proposal. It's a workable proposal, but it looks like the proposal, the people are saying that, well, I left something out. When the people said they wanted to do the audit, the original audit, we told them, and I in particular said it at the board meeting, that we can't pay any money. The Ghana Airport Company cannot pay you any money at all to do this work. You have to find your own money to do the audit and come and convince us that we need the service. So they said, okay, they'll do that. They'll pay their own money. This is also in letters. In letters that they wrote that there will be no financial commitment from the airport company. Till today, there's no financial commitment from the airport company. Absolutely none. So they went to do the audit and came back, as I said. And then we were satisfied that they can do something. So management should continue to work with them. Management came back and said they brought a proposal and they are looking at it. However, what they are asking for in the proposal is that if they are commissioned to do the work, whatever money they gain for the Ghana Airport Company, on top of what we were getting already, they want 20%. So for instance, if they find that in the importation part of frozen food or something like that, airport was getting 1 million, but with their work, we now have 2 million, then there's 1 million that they have added to what the airport was getting, and they want 20% of that 1 million. So this was put to before the board by the management, who dealt with them, the MD, who dealt with them on the document. And then the board said, no, you can't have 20%. MD dropped them to 16%. So it was agreed. And then MD was told that, okay, go ahead and do the things you have to do. Those are due diligence, public procurement, and then get the document done. This was around November. So this is the last thing I heard about that process. Then December came, and then election came, and then soon after election, we were out. By January, we had resigned. All of us had resigned. I didn't know they had signed the contract. Some 10 days ago, Manasseh Azuri called me that he's investigating this matter, and that is so. When the OSP came, then all the lawyers were wondering why are they working together. Manasseh Azuri is one of the people you've been talking about. Kisi Agyei is one of the people you've been talking about. They seem to be working together for this, but I don't know, and it doesn't matter. Manasseh Azuri called me and said that what's the Evertex contract? I said, what is that? He said, Evertex, the people doing quality assurance. I said, the people who do the thing SML does. He said, yes. Then I said, I don't know about it. I don't know where it's gone to. Then it was Manasseh Azuri who told me that the contract had been signed by the managing director on 4th of December, 4 days or 3 days to election. And I said, well, okay, I don't know. I didn't know. This conversation is about 2 weeks ago. I didn't know whether the contract has been signed. I didn't find out whether the contract has been signed because it's not necessary. The board has finished its work. Whatever management does, if the management need the board again, they'll come back to the board. If there's a new board, management will come back to the new board and say, the old board did this. This is the problem we have, so resolve it. When the management is doing contracts, they are doing their PPA contracts under the law. They don't come to the board. They only come to the board when the threshold is beyond. So there are many contracts that the management does that the board doesn't know, they are not aware of. We don't have to be aware of it because the management is doing their work. But when they cross a threshold where the MD doesn't have capacity to approve this, then it comes to the board. So the board is merely there for approvals and also to initiate things that concern policy. So this is I didn't know that the contract had been signed. It was Manasseh Azuri who told me that the contract has been signed. Okay, so the contract was signed, and now the Kisi Agyei and the OSP are calling people at the airport company. We've heard all kinds of things, telling them that, did board chairman tell you to do this? Are you sure it's not board chairman who told you to do this? Very bizarre interviews that they've had over this matter. Everybody goes and they tell them, did you know the board chairman? Did the board chairman tell you to do that? And they come out telling their lawyers that, we don't understand. Why are they talking about board chairman? They've had conversations with the managing director. They've had conversations with most of the managers. They've seen the board minutes. Manasseh Azuri has seen the board minutes. Letters that have been written about this issue from the company to the management. It is Manasseh Azuri who tells me. And he sends me texts all the time. Those of you who saw me on YouTube, you heard me say that I've even sent him texts. Manasseh has sent me several questions. I've answered some. I'm still in the process of answering some. But now that the OSP seems to be looking at the same thing, then I'm assuming that perhaps they are working together, which is fine. There's no problem. They need to investigate. But public procurement matters have nothing to do with the board chairman. And I don't have any interest in any of the companies who came there. I don't know who they are. I don't know who is their friend, where they came from. But anyway, the OSP insists that we have to come there today at 3 o'clock. Every lawyer is telling me, look, they want you to come at 3 o'clock and then they will detain you. They may arrest you. They will say, go and bring this. They will say bail. And one lawyer told me that how much is the money involved in that? I said, there's no money involved. There's absolutely no money involved in it. There's no money at all involved. Airport has not paid a single money to anyone. Airport has not lost a single money. And the contract has been signed by the managing director. I asked Manasseh Azuri that, when you saw the contract, did you see my signature? Did I witness? He said, no. I said, but if the managing director has signed the contract, the managing director has signed so many contracts with so many people that the board will not know about because it is within her threshold and that of management to do. So that's why I told CTFM and Joy, this is a pure witch hunt from Kisi Agyei. But anyway, all I wanted viewers to know is that this is the story. And also Facebook people. So people want to know what happened. Kisi Agyei says we cannot postpone it. We have to come to his office today. So we are going to his office today to see it, to listen to him and ask him these questions, and he will also ask us questions. Media people who want to cover it, you can come. I don't know whether it's allowed, public hearing is allowed. People have called me, can we come and cover it? What is going to happen? I don't know how they do the OSP work, but I'm going there with my lawyer and then we'll be there to answer the questions. I'll let you know what happens. Everybody's telling me though that Kisi wants to arrest you and keep you there for the weekend to teach you a lesson because you've been talking about him. You have gone to write RTI about him. You said that he has bulletproof cars and all of those things has hurt him. So he wants to come after you. Well, that's up to him. If that's what he uses the state authority for, it's entirely up to him. That's not my problem. I don't mind. I will continue to do my work, and to say anything wrong about whether it is Kisi Agyei, whether it is X, Y, Z, W, V, we will have to say it, so long as we can provide the evidence for it. If it is his decision that because we have been talking about him, where there's no concern about board chairman, he will call people and ask them that, say that board chairman did this, say that board chairman. We want you to say that board chairman. We want you to say that all that gamut of information that all the lawyers are telling me about. I don't know. The lawyers are telling me about it. That this is what is happening, because some of those lawyers have gone there with their clients and they tell me that they are saying, what did board chairman do? What did they tell us about? This is the questions that the OSP wants to know. It's entirely up to you, Kisi Agyei. It's entirely up to you. So 3 o'clock, we will be there, and hopefully we'll be back, and then we'll report to you what happened. This is what we wanted to do, just to tell you, so that people don't have a blank mind and they don't understand what is happening. They think something really wrong has happened. Absolutely nothing wrong has happened.
Peter said, Chairman, blah, that's a question. The teacher muchere. They say I can say the minim sadian fa. Sa Christmas tree no hu minim se fa hu dia any minim.
Speak to one of the lawyers for Paul Adom Otchere, Lenin, Anane, Agyei Nelson. Thanks for joining us, counsel. Where is the whereabouts of your clients at the moment?
A very good evening to you and your viewers this evening. As I speak to you, I'm unable to say for a fact where our client is, except to mention that he's been moved from the office of the special prosecutor. We are getting conflicting reports as to his location. We've been to the National Security Head Office and we've been informed he's not there. And so we are still making frantic efforts to locate specifically where he's been taken to.
Right. The OSP has released a statement saying that your client was not able to meet his bail conditions. What is the difficulty here?
Now, first of all, the statement by the OSP and all honesty is out of place. The challenge that the OSP has set is essentially to give the dog a bad name so that you can hang it, because it is unreasonable in the context of bail to require an accused person to produce properties in his own name. What the OSP is essentially saying is that persons who lack properties or poor people in this country cannot own or cannot make bail in this country. The shocking fact is that while taking the profile of the suspect indicated that he does not own any landed property. And so for the OSP to set 2 landed properties in his name as precedent for his bail condition is essentially concluding to hang him and detain him. And so we find the bail conditions very unreasonable. It is akin the person to buy bail, and we think that it is completely out of place for any reasonable law enforcement agency to require such bail conditions.
But are you working to meet the conditions, or are you throwing your hands up in despair?
As lawyers, we are going to deploy every legal means necessary and every legal means ethical to meet any conditions that the law sets. But as you are all aware, where those conditions are also unreasonable, there are options available to us, and we intend to pursue it to the fullest. I must point out, yes.
Go ahead.
I must point out that as far as these bail conditions are concerned, except the Office of the Special Prosecutor is asking our clients to find money to go and buy 2 landed properties so he can secure his bail, it is completely out of place, because the suspect says, I do not own a landed property. So that condition for now cannot be met. It is unreasonable.
But what other options are available to you to ensure that you secure his release?
I mean, we are still discussing our options, but the bottom line remains that in the hierarchy of affairs, the OSP ranks lower to our courts. And the courts always have the power to relook at conditions that are set by such bodies. But the fundamental point remains that these conditions that have been set by the OSP is calculated to detain Paul Adom Otchere and nothing else. It is solely calculated to detain him, even whether for a night or 2 and nothing else. The conditions can, because you see, the point is that usually when law enforcement require bail, they don't even want properties of the suspect, so that in case the suspect runs away, the person who has stood surety would forfeit his properties and can't produce the suspect. It is out of the ordinary that law enforcement requires that the suspect should provide landed properties in his own name. In situations where you ordinarily even provide, the court would often reject it, asking that somebody has to come and bail you. And so we find what the OSP has done completely out of place, out of line, unprecedented, and no well-meaning Ghanaians should endorse this, especially for journalists, because this is setting the tone for getting people to keep quiet when their issues in respect of their operations come up for interrogation.
Right. Counsel, where Paul Adom Otchere stays currently, is it not his own house? Can he not use that as one of the landed properties?
He has indicated, like I said, in his suspect profile, that he does own a landed property. That property belongs to his mother, properly so called. And that is why it is. And so it cannot be, like I've stated, to require him to own landed property. That, as I sit here, I don't own landed property. So if I come into conflict with the law, I can't have bail. If the average person on the streets come into conflict with the law, he has to own landed property to be able to make bail. Mind you, the purpose of bail is to secure the attendance of the suspect and not as punishment. And so they must be reasonable. And especially in the case of somebody like Paul Adom Otchere, who is a public person, who is well known, it will not even be out of place to grant the person a self-recognizance bill, not to talk less such unreasonable and unconscionable conditions as the Office of the Special Prosecutor has said. We think that this is setting back our democratic values and clock by far many miles. And we should be ready to speak against it on any day.
Will you be heading to court for a bail variation?
As I said, we are still discussing our options. And in the coming days, you see what steps would be taken towards realizing our client's freedom as it properly should be.
All right, Counsel, ahead of the meeting with the OSP, we saw a letter written by your chambers to the OSP. What were your initial concerns?
The initial concern was that, again, the OSP's letter came at a time when most of us were unavailable to. And so, as has been the practice with law enforcement, and this is not the first time, if for any reason they are unable to realize counsel's presence, we would usually engage with them and then the meeting will be rescheduled. But again, as if it is some premeditated and some pre-scheduled scheme at all points and in all intent to get Paul Adom Otchere detained, that letter went in a matter of 2 hours. The OSP had responded. In fact, we saw the response in the media even before it actually reached us. And for us, that speaks to a certain pre-calculated attempt here and skew these facts to detain Paul Adom Otchere. We don't think that the OSP is acting in good faith, and we think that moving forward, all well-meaning Ghanaians, again, should speak against this, because we cannot have law enforcement use its powers in the oppressive manners that the OSP is exerting the powers that they want.
Right. What are the specific allegations against your client, and has he been formally charged?
In fact, that is the other inconsistency in the statement that the OSP released. The OSP purports to have charged our client, and yet again they say that they are investigating possible procurement breaches. The suggestion being that they themselves are inconclusive regarding the findings that they have or what charges they are proceeding. Now, even more surprising is the fact that they claim the contract was awarded to a body other than what the board approved, meaning that the board did approve a body. But even more strange, the managing director who signed those contracts is working, and yet the board, who as it were sits at a higher level and only provide policy direction and approval, being imposed with outrageous and unconscionable bail conditions in the hope that they will be detained if they fail to meet it. We think that the OSP's approach to these issues does not bode well for our gains when it comes to criminal jurisprudence, and we should all be willing to deal with it.
Counsel, what explanations has your client given for the allegations leveled against him?
I would for now not want to go into those merits, but for those of you who have access to TV, Paul Adom Otchere himself this morning laid out the facts as relates to the issues before the OSP on Metro TV this morning. And that is just what he stuck with and what he has told the OSP as far as his knowledge and the matters that are in discussion are concerned. Nothing beyond that. And so whatever he said this morning in relation to the board approving based on recommendations that were made and based on assessments and non-financial comments made by GACL, remains what the record reflects as being the position of the board on this.
Do you think he's being victimized?
I think so, because we all know, in fact, that Paul Adom Otchere has been one of the vocal critics of the special prosecutor. And throughout the time of his criticism, he has consistently maintained of schemes and attempts to more or less silence and punish him. And it is why I say that journalists particularly must be up and speaking, because today it is Paul Adom Otchere. Tomorrow it might be somebody else. Nowhere in the jurisprudence of this country has it been said that a person must own landed property to be able to make bail. And even when they were asked to vary the bail conditions because the suspect had stated he owned no landed property, they blatantly refused and insisted that if he does not own landed property and therefore cannot produce properties in his name, he was going to be detained until he has met it. Clearly, he's been victimized with the sole purpose of detaining him with the hope that he would keep quiet in respect of matters of the OSP. But we know our client is a man of conviction. And regardless of what happens, what he believes to be right, he would insist and speak against no matter what happens with the OSP.
All right, lawyer, thank you very much for speaking to us.
How to use the laser home kit. First, apply the gel directly to the tooth surface as demonstrated on the video. Second, connect the light to your phone using the USB provided. Leave the light shining on your teeth for 16 minutes. Fourth, rinse your mouth and the mouthpiece with water, cold water. And lastly, smile. Using the toothpaste separately. Brush twice daily with the toothpaste. Bear in mind, this product is not suitable for pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and children under 18 years old. Enjoy!
So pair a sifita structure of what yet, and the enough for unique laser whiten. Any tea stains, coffee stains, smoking stains, unique laser whitening product. Ebe yini nyina free summer kama. The oyan is so befraying. Ewa 079-9979-2330. Unique laser whitening. Or say Muni Seso.
Abone fonti e wose uno bambo hu hia na me papa mu de Pro Technologies and me kan fama wo ane Pro Technologies. We are specialized in both sales and installation of CCTV cameras. Yes, on ESA install CCTV cameras in the Sour Ghana and NASA brochure now fear Ghana. Now best CCTV camera installation. We need Pro Technologies and then so yes CCTV camera installation, electric fence, automated gate, access control, video doorbell, and our intercom, and our satellite TV, home theater, so upebiato, and our water and our pesebe install them out. Pro Technologies and our software. Na so say fidye nyina from America bochime ndi send papa na opedia man nwene ho na ne bo anso da form ne general construction so pese si ufie di ma say ya bansoro dentia so wa hyase na pese ewie di ba ana afa na pese si di ma wo no woni en eminsa wo so ne de wo ni say ye no nyina ne wa bochime mu ha ene branch e wa Ghana na enim obra wo bre ndi so sika fa ensem a sro bia enim wo dad da e dey bi apese osi plan bia. And which is so here solar power and abamba ho sensem bia de uni Pro Technologies emisa woso ye smart home aba from fidie bi apeso hye wo fie ana intercom e bi hujuma ene esanso interior decoration yes fie na mawo ana wa wasi fie na pese siesi hodema wo se eye office ye betwa ho neat ne wo car tracker ana GPS how betimi dia track your car bibia car ne nam bia obetima hwe e wo phone so and which is so ton fidie bi na wo hu ko e first install ana ne settings ye beye e your Ghana office ewo Agyei Adenta Dodoa Road yene CBG ene di animhwe for information or WhatsApp +1 401 75 70 300 and +1 401 69 92 254. Pro Technologies, customer satisfaction is our topmost priority.